My name is Solomon Chambadi, and yeah, man, let's go, let's get it. Time for everything. Everything that happens in this world happens at the time God chooses. He sets the time for birth and the time for death, the time for planting and the time for pulling up, the time for killing and the time for healing, the time for tearing down and the time for building. He sets the time for sorrow and the time for joy, the time for mourning and the time for dancing, the time for making love and the time for not making love, the time for kissing and the time for not kissing. He sets the time for finding and the time for losing, the time for saving and the time for throwing away, the time for tearing and the time for mending, the time for silence and the time for talk. He sets the time for love and the time for hate, the time for war and the time for peace. What do we gain from all our work? I know the heavy burdens that God has laid on us. He has set the right time for everything. He has given us the desire to know the future, but never gives us the satisfaction of fully understanding what He does. So I realize that all we can do is to be happy and to do the best we can while we are still alive. All of us should eat and drink and enjoy what we have worked for. It is God's gift. I know that everything God does will last forever. You can't add anything to it or take anything away from it. The one thing God does is to make us stand in awe of Him. Whatever happens or can happen has already happened before. God makes the same thing happen again and again. And just like that, first quarter of 2023 is done and dusted. I don't know about you, but time has really flown by. And I feel as if we've all learnt a couple of lessons already. We all can take something from the first quarter of 2023. And I'd just like to encourage each and every one of us to just take a moment this long weekend to sit back in solitude and just reflect on how the first quarter has gone for you. It doesn't have to be the whole day, it can even be 10 minutes. But what is one lesson that you have learned from the first quarter? For me personally, to summarize all the lessons, I would say that there is a time for everything. Lately, I've been stressing and worrying about the future, and the level of uncertainty is quite uncomfortable. But I've realized that worrying about the past and worrying about the future robs me of the joy that is found in today. Like Master Ugo from Kung Fu Panda once said, today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. Knowing that there's a time for studies and a time for rest. There's a time for socializing, there's a time for solitude. There's a time for going for a run and there's a time for resting. Knowing that there's a time for everything. Right now is not the time to worry and stress about the future. Instead, it's now time to be present in the present moment. Knowing that the best way to prepare and plan for tomorrow is to give today your best. Like verse 12 says, so I realize that all we can do is be happy and do the best we can while we are still alive. Just know that every single small effort we put in each and every single day counts. It is significant because at the end of the day, it all builds up and reaps good fruit. Take that 1% of improvement. Take that one step forward. Know that every small effort and input put consistently leads to a greater good. We've all had some highs and lows, some higher than others, some lower than others. But let us just be encouraged that showing up each day is enough. Sometimes that is us giving today our best. You just following through what you've committed to do. You just having a list of 1 or 2 or 3 things for the day and knowing that everything else that is done in that day is a bonus. I would like to just ask you once again, what is that one lesson that you've learned from first quarter? Feel free to comment down below and share. Let us encourage each and every one of us to take that 1% of improvement, to take that one step forward, to know that there's a time for everything. And the best thing to do right now is to give today our best, even if it's just simply by showing up. I really hope this video has served and encouraged you in any shape, form or size. And please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Until next time, God bless and stay blessed.
First quarter for me was very challenging. because I had to I had to learn basically a lot of new things with regards to school, and I was also dealing with a lot of things at home and stuff like that. But so far, I'm pushing through. I'm trying as hard as I can, and I'm hoping that next quarter gets a bit better.
For me, first quarter was weird because the highs were high and the lows were quite low. Yeah, so we had a lot of student culture events where it was all about having fun and getting student culture up. But obviously being in final year, the work, the weight of the credits, you feel a lot more. So it was like you play hard, you work hard, and hopefully it just all balanced out quite well. We'll have to wait and see.
What I learned is that failure is part of the journey, so it depends on how you're gonna take it. But at the end of the day, you can overcome it and then bounce back from it. So that's what I learned. That's what I'm currently doing, and I hope everything is gonna turn out well at the end.
Life is like a taxi. If it crashes, it is what it is. But you are there for the ride. It's the important thing. You should just ride your failures, ride your successes, work hard, make sure you're doing something every day, so you feel productive.
I've taken that you need to have an off day, self-care.
So I think the biggest thing for me that I've taken is resilience. If bad marks come, it happens. Just shrug it off and carry on.